Imagine buying a house for less than $10,000, filling your gas tank for under $3, and feeding an entire family for just a few dollars a week. Welcome to America in the 1950s, an era many people call the golden age of living. But was life really cheaper? Or was there a hidden struggle behind the perfect suburban dream? The 1950s were a time of booming prosperity in the United States. After World War II, millions of Americans entered a new middle-class lifestyle. Factories were booming. Families were growing. Suburbs expanded rapidly across the nation. Televisions entered homes. Cars filled the highways. And for many Americans, the dream finally seemed possible. But compared to today, the prices from the 1950s almost seem unbelievable. Tonight, we're diving deep into the real cost of living in 1950s America. In the mid-1950s, the average American worker earned around $4,000 to $5,000 per year. That may sound tiny today, but back then, it could support an entire family. Many households survived on just one income, usually the father working full-time, while the mother stayed home caring for children. Factory jobs were common, and many workers could afford homes without college degrees. For millions of Americans, financial stability seemed achievable, but not everyone experienced this prosperity equally. Many minority communities still faced poverty, segregation, and limited opportunities. The American dream was real for some, but out of reach for others. One of the most shocking differences was housing. In 1950, the average American home cost around $7,000 to $12,000. New suburban neighborhoods exploded in popularity. Developments like Levittown created rows of affordable homes for returning veterans and young families. Monthly mortgage payments could be as low as $60 to $80 per month. Compare that to modern America, where homes often cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but homes in the 1950s were also smaller. Many families lived in houses under 1,000 square feet. Children shared bedrooms, and luxury features were rare. Still, for many Americans, owning a home became a symbol of success. Now let's look inside a typical 1950s grocery store. A loaf of bread cost about 14 cents. Milk was around 80 cents per gallon. Eggs were often under 60 cents a dozen. Ground beef? Roughly 40 to 50 cents per pound. A family could often buy an entire week of groceries for around $10 to $15. But remember, families cooked nearly everything at home. Fast food was still new. Frozen meals were uncommon. And eating at restaurants was considered a luxury for many households. People stretched meals carefully. Leftovers were rarely wasted. And homemade cooking was part of daily life. The 1950s became the golden age of the American automobile. Big chrome-covered cars filled the streets. Popular models from Ford, Chevrolet, and Cadillac became symbols of freedom and status. A brand new car often cost between $1,300 and $2,000. And gasoline? Around 20 to 30 cents per gallon. Road trips became part of American culture. Drive-in theaters, motels, and roadside diners exploded across the country. For the first time, millions of families could travel long distances affordably. Apartment rent could range from $30 to $80 per month depending on location. Electric bills were often under $10 monthly. Many homes didn't yet have air conditioning, multiple televisions, or expensive electronics. Life was simpler in some ways. People spent more time outside. Neighbors knew each other. Children played in the streets until sunset. But daily life also required harder physical work. Washing clothes, cleaning homes, and cooking meals took far more time than today. Modern convenience barely existed. Many people today romanticize the 1950s. And yes, for some Americans, life felt stable and affordable. But there was another side rarely shown in old photographs. Racial segregation remained widespread. Women had limited career opportunities. Medical treatments were primitive compared to today. And many rural families still struggled deeply with poverty. The perfect suburban lifestyle shown on television did not represent every American experience. The 1950s were both prosperous and deeply unequal. Looking back at 1950s, America feels almost unreal today. Cheap homes, cheap gas, affordable groceries, but the world itself was very different. Families lived smaller, owned less, and often sacrificed more than we imagine. Still, for many Americans, the decade represented hope, growth, and the belief that tomorrow would be better than today. And perhaps that's why the 1950s continue to fascinate us decades later. Would you survive living in 1950s America? Or do you think modern life is actually better? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more forgotten stories from history.